today, I want to talk about nothing but mechanisms. I know we've been filtering in this topic into all of these videos over and over again. It's just, I really want to relay the amount of success that we've been able to have and how easy, crazy, daunting tasks become once you have a mechanism in place. The thing is, where I start out with, is so the drinking. Before the end of the year 2018, I had pretty much drank every single day for the previous 4 years. I had no idea, but I was already on my way of losing my marriage, possibly getting a divorce, separating. We have 3 kids together, and it wasn't going to be a good thing. I had no idea. And I would assure you that a lot of people out there right now that are drinking every day, that have a family, that have people watching you, kids watching you, a wife watching you, and you're just totally, completely oblivious to the fact that you're probably a big fucking disappointment. I'm going to try not to cuss too much, but I'm going to stop right there. I tried to go to AA meetings. I go in there, they're like, it's a disease, it's a disease, it's a disease. I sat there in one meeting specifically, I'm thinking, should I say something? Should I say something? Should I say something? Ultimately, I did say something because that's just my nature. And I told the entire room, I was like, it's not a disease, it's a choice. Cancer's a disease. Alzheimer's a disease. You can't just choose to have cancer or choose to have Alzheimer's, but you can choose whether or not you drink today. Everybody in the room jumped on my case. It was kind of interesting how insecure the entire room was and how well guarded that whole concept was. And I'm just going to say right now, flat out, 12-step programs absolutely work. I think anything that you do, if you have a goal in mind, can work no matter what. But I think AA is BS, completely BS. I think the traditional ways to approach a lot of addictions, a lot of behavioral problems, I think are all BS. Because the reality of it is all you have to do is figure out a way to turn the voice that's in the back of your head trying to talk you into doing something that you shouldn't do. All you have to do is figure out a way to eliminate that voice. That's literally all you have to do. That's it. Period. It's not even a debatable topic. It's January 2nd was when the 1-year club started. So that's kind of where the whole mechanism thing even evolved from. I was going to lose my F-150 and $6,000 to 6 individual people if I drank more than 3 times in 2019. Right now, I'm currently 7 months into 2019, and I drank once, and I regretted it because I wasted 2 days being hungover, and I didn't even drink that much. It's interesting because we're like looking at a Vegas trip. Me and my wife might go on vacation or something like that because I'm actually resigning in a week and a half from now from a job that I've had for 25 years because I've been doing all this stuff associated with the mechanism. It's insane how much traction you can have. From the alcohol aspect, I was literally, I'm sorry to bring this back around, but I literally had cried in my wife's lap that I thought there was no way that I could possibly quit drinking because I totally thought it was a disease. Webster Dictionary says that alcoholism is a disease. It's not a disease, folks. I would love to have the debate with anybody on this topic. Anybody, by far, bar none. Half my life I've spent on methamphetamines. I know the difference between addictions. I know the difference between diseases, and I know what I can come from and what I can get to. And the reality of it is what you have to understand is the power of the mechanism. The power of creating such a large amount of leverage against yourself that the pain of losing that leverage far outweighs the pain of doing the little bit of work you need to do. This last mechanism, Zach and I both have right now. So by September 1st, it was a total of a 12-week time frame to have abs, to go from a sloppy little bod dad, beer belly, whatever I had. I have some before and after pictures on it. in 12 weeks time, and I was freaking out about this one. I didn't want to do it. I did want to do it, but I was freaking out whether I could actually achieve it. The crazy thing about it is once you put a mechanism in place for any goal that you want to achieve, you start pulling out all the stops. What can I do? So I'm talking to my doctor. What can I do to burn more fat? So he gives me medications to slow down my thyroid a little bit, so I don't convert to fat as fast. My water intake is specified. I'm below 2,600 calories every single day, eating 7 meals at 300 grams of protein. Very specific, filling diet. I eat steak and eggs for dinner every single night. How awesome is that? I eat shrimp every single day, and there's not a lot of restrictions on what I can eat, but I stay really specific because I'm trying to build muscle and cut fat at the same time. And I was just talking to Zach right now. I've lost no weight and I've gained no weight, but I've put on a ton of muscle mass and I've shaved a lot of fat off my body. When you put a mechanism in place, you try to figure out every possible advantage that you can come up with in order to achieve that goal. Right now, I'm sitting here 6 weeks in and I legitimately have abs. I'm not going to show them to you right now because I think it's kind of weird, pretentious, and whatever, so on and so forth. And it's kind of gay, me sitting here with Zach showing off my abs. Right. Might as well go do some male porn, gay porn. But I just really, really, really want to emphasize to you how powerful putting a mechanism in place can get you across a threshold that you never thought you could cross. Right now, I have a mechanism that I have to have a book narrated, and by the end of August 31st, I'm already scheduled in the studio, August 5th through August 9th. It'll be done by August 9th. Like everything you do, like you think, I thought like a 12-week time frame was a tight time frame to get abs, and I was completely wrong. I did it in 6 weeks. These are the kinds of things that you can do. Like, what is it that you want to achieve that you think you can't achieve, and you think so? Let's say the next one I want to do is I want to learn how to speak Spanish fluently, because I deal with a lot of Hispanic homeowners and sellers and stuff like that in the real estate business. And it's better for me not to have, like today, I have to have somebody come with me to translate for me to buy a house from somebody. I would much rather just be able to do that myself. So I'm thinking about it like, okay, so I'm going to learn Spanish in 12 weeks. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling off. Like I just really want people to understand. What's that?
Keep going with your mechanisms and I'll step in.
So the thing about it is like 4 different occasions I've set out to learn Spanish. 4 different occasions. I don't know how to speak Spanish fluently. I never freaking crossed the threshold. I've done Rosetta Stone. I've done Pimsleur. I've tried to learn from people on job sites. I've partnered up with somebody to learn on a job site. And so in 12 weeks time, like as soon as I'm thinking about it, like, okay, so I put a $1,000 mechanism in place to be able to speak Spanish fluently in 12 weeks. It's scary. It's totally scary. The lead up to it is super scary. But the day it starts, you literally pull out all stops to make sure that the goal happens. You become so much more effective at pursuing that goal than you ever even thought possible. And anybody can do this. I'm not particularly any smarter than anybody else. I mean, this guy hit up on my Facebook post today that I had like 2 misspellings or something like that in a Facebook ad that I was paying to run. Like, okay, yeah, this is embarrassing. And you know,
you're very polite about it though.
Oh yeah, I didn't want to be, but you know, he was right. He was right. I misspelled it, and it'd be more accurate if I was more accurate with my spelling. So maybe I need to proofread better. And that's the thing that scares me to death, because now I'm going into narrate a book, an audio book. I don't read books. I listen to books. Scared to death. I mean, okay, so now I got to sit here in a studio, all these people listening to me, people walking in and out of the control room, reading a book chapter by chapter and trying to do it as flawlessly as possible, so that way it's quality enough that I can have it up on audible.com, which it will be. It's a really daunting thing. But do I have a choice not to do it? I lose $1,000 if I don't. I guess I could just, I have decent money right now, but I can't just afford to lose $1,000 willy-nilly on anything.
Not many can.
Not many can. And maybe the threshold isn't $1,000 for somebody. I was even thinking, so my goal right now is it's just a passive goal, but which I want to do is I want to get to the point where I can compete men's physique level bodybuilding by the end of 2020. I don't know that I necessarily need to put a mechanism on that, because if you're not careful also, I mean, this is just justifications in my head, because if you're not careful in training, you could take damage and you could put yourself out of being able to train. But maybe, I go back and forth with this one. On that same level, my goal, I have a higher goal to be a millionaire by the end of the year 2020. Maybe I could ratchet that up. Maybe I could be a millionaire by the end of this year. But I'm not going to be that. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't be. These are discussions that you should have with yourself on different things that you want to do, whether it's just a matter of you want to lose 50 pounds, or you want to have abs, or you want to put on a bunch of muscle mass, or you just want to quit smoking or quit drinking. The crazy thing about it is the quit smoking and the quit drinking ones are the most daunting ones that people see out there. They're the easiest ones to get off. Literally, the quitting drinking thing was the easiest thing. It was like automatic. I no more had the voice in the back of my head telling me that I needed to pick something up to drink that day. It was completely gone. It was the most surprising, eye-opening thing I've ever freaking experienced in my life. And I assure you, it was the easiest one to do. Out of all the mechanisms that I put in place right now, that by far was the easiest one. So if you're still drinking or whatever, you're still feeling sorry for yourself or whatever, put a mechanism on it, stop being a little bitch, and get it done. Super easy. Freaking super easy. Same thing with smoking. Smoking is a completely irrelevant thing. It's a toxic behavior. You need to get it out of your life. Whatever. Just me talking out loud here. But if I were to put like a $10,000 mechanism to donate to St. Jude to be a millionaire, I'm talking 7-figure millionaire, not an 8-figure or a 9-figure millionaire, a 7-figure millionaire by the end of 2020, the game changes. And I'm rather than going, I want to be a millionaire one day, just arbitrarily speak like, yeah, you nice to be a millionaire. No, I actually will lose $10,000 of my own hard-earned cash if I'm not at 8 figures of assets and or cash, liquid cash, by the end of 2020. I am not putting the mechanism in place yet at this point in time, so this is not an official announcement in any way, shape, or form. These are just mechanisms that I'm thinking of putting in place because of the massive amount of success I've had with the previous 7 mechanisms that I put in place. Just understand the power of this. If you have anything that you want to do and you're still just sitting there talking about it, and you wish there was a way that you could pursue it and improve your life, here it is, right here. There's nothing else out there that's even doing anything close to this. There's not. You could read motivational books. You could listen to motivational speakers. You could get all hopped up and all jacked up. I went and watched Tony Robbins, dude. That dude was freaking awesome. The next day, Tony Robbins' motivational speech fizzled out on me, wore off on me, because it's all about you. It has nothing to do with what he says. It has to do with what you take from there and what you apply. The mechanism forces you to apply. Anything that you want to do, you have no excuse not to achieve. I don't need your freaking money. I would love to sell you the book. I'd love for you to buy the book. We have other products coming out as well. But the thing about it is like, I would much rather just have this army of people going, holy shit, dude, you were totally right. This is a life-changing thing. Anything that I sit here and hem-haw about, I just throw a mechanism on it, $1,500, $1,000, $5,000 mechanism on it, and it's good as achieved. You look at everything completely different. It's no longer, I wish I could do that. Oh, that's cool that they can do that. I just don't have the drive to do that. It's you literally shift the gears into high as soon as you have a mechanism in place. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Zach and what he's done.
Well, it's less of what I've done, but like I was really hesitant towards the concept at first, and I think a lot of people really are. Because in my life previous to the 1-year club, I had gone a whole year without drinking before just because I wanted to. I've intermittent fasted before and cut 35 pounds in a month. Mm-hmm. These are all things that I just just self-discipline. I was able to do these things. But most people don't necessarily have that. But I started getting into things that I never was able to do before just through self-discipline. One of those things was, particularly right here, I would never get in front of a camera before. I'm talking pretty clearly right now. I would be stuttering before. I wouldn't talk in front of groups. I wouldn't speak at company gatherings and where I have to be the center of attention, or like project managing, speaking in front of people. I didn't necessarily use money as a leverage in those scenarios. I used another fear of my own, leveraging against that to get over those things. But I was able to do it. You don't necessarily have to use money to accomplish a mechanism. It's
what did you use on it? Did you use
skydiving.
So if you weren't able to do the public speaking by a certain time frame,
no, that day.
Yeah,
I was gonna go skydiving that weekend. But that's kind of
just ideas.
That's kind of where most of the things go wrong. I'm actually going through a book right now that speaks about having unwavering faith and extreme drive towards a goal will get you there. But I'd argue that most people do have that unwavering faith. They set a New Year's resolution, they have a goal that they want to do, and they set out and they're like, I'm going to do this. I know I'm going to do this. And then by day 3, week 2, week 4, whatever it is, it's dropped, it's gone. They don't have the motivation to do it because there's nothing holding them accountable. There's nothing that is leveraged against it. There's nothing saying I have to do this, or I lose this, or I have to do this, or there's nothing against it. So they end up quitting, they end up not doing their goal.
Justifying their way out of it. Letting that voice in the back of their head, the fear, the doubt, totally consume them to a point where they fail.
And actually last night I was talking to a buddy of mine and I was explaining the mechanism to him, and he said, no, you're lying, dude. You've drank this year. You've had to have, dude. I'm like, no, I haven't. And he was kind of getting to the point where he was saying, I don't think $500 or $1,000 is enough for me to quit drinking. I'd likely just lie about it to myself or lie about it to the other person. And I basically just broke it down like, you just have to look at that drink before you go to drink it and say, is that worth $500? Is that drink worth $500?
I would have failed if I would have done $500. I had to do an F-150 and $6,000. That was enough pain for me to do the work.
Yeah.
The work was nothing compared to the amount of pain that I was going to endure. And the thing that was interesting about it is I had 7 people holding me accountable, not just one.
I think likely for me, $1 would have been enough.
And everybody has different thresholds.
It's who you are. Like, part of it for me is just the competition. Like, I wasn't gonna let Alan take my $1 or $1,000 or whatever. Now it's going to charity, so I feel a lot better about it. But you know, it's still, you're competing against yourself at that point. I'm still competing against Alan. I don't want Alan to have a 6-pack, and I don't. So it's really good to have, we're calling it basically gears built in to your mechanism with you. People that you're doing it with, building a community, building a network of people that are just driven towards success by leveraging a pain to get to that success. And that pain of failure usually was enough for me.
But it's not enough for most people.
But it's not enough for most people.
A lot of people are happy to fail on a regular basis. It just is what it is.
And going back to the whole lying thing, you could just lie about it, and that's fine, but you're right back to where you were before, not accomplishing your goals.
Here, let me like speak to that for 1 second real quick. Before a mechanism is actually in place, all the justifications and the doubts and the fears run rampant. Like literally. So like your friend saying, yeah, I would probably just cheat and, drink anyway. And it's interesting because you think so. But once you actually start, because all of us have like a certain level of integrity, unless you're a total POS, piece of shit, you want to maintain that integrity the best you possibly can. We all tell little lies inadvertently. We all do little weird things inadvertently. But ultimately, if you're sitting there and you go, okay, well, now you've started, you're in the mechanism, you're going to lose $1,000, you're going to lose $5,000 if you drink more than 3 times this year. And here's the cool thing about it is, like with the drinking, I don't think you should ever just cut drinking out of your life because you're afraid to go down that dark path, or you're gonna wind up that you're building up some bullshit negative programming in your head, and it's not true. And it's been pushed across our society for a long time. It's all BS. There's so much BS. So, anyways, if you're allowed to drink 3 times, your perspective completely changes. You actually have like breathing room. You're like, wow, this isn't really that big of a deal. I sit across from people every single weekend, sometimes during the week, go to barbecues, go where I would actually have had to drink like a 12-pack of Bud Light or a 6-pack at least before I even got in the car to drive my family to the freaking barbecue, and bring a 12-pack with me just in case they didn't have enough alcohol for me to drink. That's where I was at. Now I go to those events all the time, and I drink my iced tea, or I drink my club soda and lime, and I'm perfectly content with it. And the interesting thing is like people don't get drunk as much now. Like I'm noticing, another friend of mine said, he's like, dude, be prepared to lose all your friends when you quit drinking. I've gained more friends now that I don't drink than I ever had in my drinking environments. It's interesting because your motivation completely changes, and you're not BSing your goals anymore. You can actually sit here and be all nostalgic and go, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do, so on and so forth, and then the next day have some actual momentum, rather than the next day, man, I wish I would have said that, I'm hungover, I feel like shit, I'm just going to try to forget yesterday. Once you start a mechanism, you could lie, you could cheat your way out of it, that's fine, it's your prerogative, whatever. But I would even argue that you wouldn't even be able to look that person in the face, or whoever's holding you accountable, whoever's your counterpart, whoever's your gear, you wouldn't even be able to look them in the face anymore if you fell short. It probably eats you alive. And if you ever did that, if you ever did actually put a mechanism in place and had somebody holding you accountable, by the way, we are working on creating a more high-level accountability process. So if there's any questions about, okay, what if I don't have anybody like that, or what we're working on creating something for that. So we'll get to that later on. You will do what you set the mechanism in place to do. All the conversations the negative conversations that you have in your head before the mechanism is in place are all the conversations that disappear after the mechanism starts. It's really profound. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take that from you.
You're good. So basically, I've been asking everyone a pretty simple question, and it's a straightforward answer, yes or no. And that question's really just, are you happy? And I don't think anyone out there really, truly is 100% happy. Like there's no one out there that doesn't have a goal that they want to achieve, that they haven't likely already failed at, that they haven't set that goal 5, 6, 7 times. Maybe this is the 8th year they set their goal. They haven't done anything with it.
Yeah, and that even builds it up against them because they think more and more that it's not even possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. And going through this book and everything, it's like you just have to keep at it and that is exactly how you achieve a goal, is having faith that you're going to achieve it and putting in the work. But this whole time that I'm going through the book, I'm just like, okay, I can do that with a lot of goals. There's plenty of goals I have done and achieved, but there's plenty of goals I had and I didn't achieve them. And it's really just comes down to, is anything forcing you to do the work? The faith thing is easy. Anyone can have faith and build themselves up, but if you don't have something forcing you to do the work, you're going to lose that faith. And that faith starts fading away. And like you said, on that 7th year, they haven't accomplished their goal. They've likely given up. They don't think they're good enough to accomplish a goal, but it's not that. You just don't have anything pushing you past that breaking point. And once you do break past that point, I implore you, do one mechanism. Just put up one mechanism on your life. When you accomplish that, you're going to be looking at what can I do next?
What's next? Yeah.
What's the second mechanism? What's the third? What's the fourth? What's the sixth? You know, you're on 8 now.
If I put the Spanish, speak Spanish fluently in 12 weeks, which I'm probably going to do. I'm working. So right now, just in the back end of that one, I'm looking, before I'm putting it in place, I'm trying to look for the feasibility of me being able to do it in 12 weeks. I already had a friend of mine that lives in Mexico right now, and we're already like starting to work out the details. And I'm like telling him, hey dude, so if you're going to partner with me on this one, just understand that I have to be able to speak fluently in multiple types of conversations in 12 weeks, like legitimately. And he's like, dude, I got you. He's like, totally. And it was funny because I just put the thing up on Facebook saying, hey, I'm thinking about putting an 8th mechanism in place, 12 weeks, speak Spanish fluently, because it would really help me out with my business, the real estate business that I'm working on right now. And out of nowhere, he pops up and says, hey bro, I'll be a perfect teacher for you. And it lets him have an opportunity to make some extra money at the same time. I mean, I was Googling all the different, maybe I could go to a school, maybe I could go to online course, the tutors, and honestly, I'll probably get a deal, monetarily speaking, working with Jesse or Jesus Nunez, and he'll probably care about me succeeding more than any other tutor. So what I'm saying is, like, that's the thing, is it makes you start pulling out all the stops. What's the reality here? What can I do to make this actually happen? And it makes you start thinking about the reality of it. And that's just you could do 3 different types. And this is the way we've looked at it right now. You could get rid of a bad habit, create a good habit, or set a goal. Any one of those things, completely achievable. That's why the book says turn good addictions on and bad addictions off. Like the gym. Like, I have to go to the gym now. Like, literally, since we put the ab mechanism in place, I'm in the gym 10, 12 times a week. And the crazy thing is, and I think I mentioned this the last podcast, people go like, dude, I don't have time to go to the gym that much. And I'm like, well, I don't spend any time smoking, and I don't spend any time drinking. I don't spend barely any time watching TV, except for we turn the TV on when I go to sleep at night. How much of that time do you spend? And like, that's a really fair statement. Yeah, it is. It is a really fair statement, because people just have a really poor perspective of what their time use actually is. You could, and I'm not anything crazy, but the job that I'm resigning from up until about 2 weeks ago was a 50-hour-a-week job for me. And at the same time, I was working a 50-hour-a-week job and going to the gym that many times, and running a real estate company and building a 3rd company at the same time. And the thing about it is you might sit here and discount me like, oh dude, Alan, you're just on fire. You're just like, you just have that tenacity. You just have that level. Dude, it's mechanisms. Once I got the alcohol out of my life, I needed something to freaking do. And once you start putting mechanisms on goals beyond that, man, it's I can't even explain how fulfilled I am right now. And this is consistency over time. This isn't me just being nostalgic, drinking a 6-pack with you, saying how freaking jacked up I am about life. This is me every freaking morning, every freaking midday, every single night. This is just the way it is. I'm not trying to convince you of trying to like, oh, I want you to freaking be the best version of yourself. I am going to be so pumped once all this freaking momentum is created that like a year and a half from now, 2 years from now, there's millions of people across the planet going, holy crap, my life is completely different. Maybe this is a far-fetched goal, but this is just the way I see it. This is just a vision. You know what I mean? This is how it is gonna be. Maybe it's not millions of people. Maybe it's just 10. Either way, it's gonna be fantastic.
Well, that's the goal. Going back to you asking, well, not even asking, just saying that you're going to put a mechanism on the Spanish thing.
Mm-hmm.
That you want to speak Spanish, and someone reaching out to you. Could you imagine if you had a network of 10,000 people that every single one of them wants to see you succeed at everything?
Not me, you guys.
Yeah. That's the dream right there, and that's the accountability right there, is having a network of people that want to see everyone succeed.
And the thing that's the crazy thing about it is so I have to have, so I had a mechanism to write the book in 6 weeks. I wrote it twice the size that I thought, and I wrote it in 5 weeks. I had a mechanism to have the book published in 4 weeks. I had the book published in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. I had another mechanism that I had to have 2 Facebook ads and 2 YouTube ads running by July 26th, which is next Friday. I have those ad sets running right now. And I had to learn the marketing. This isn't me just going and putting a post on Facebook and clicking boost. This is me going through all the 11 different demographics, all the other different channels through the thing, learning how to set up ad sets that are inside the internal Facebook machine that marketing companies learn how to do and charge people thousands of dollars a month to learn how to do.
Teach them.
This isn't me just doing a Facebook post. So you see the Facebook post, those are not the ads. My ads right now are currently running in Los Angeles and in Phoenix. My ad sets on my Facebook stuff and my YouTube ads are running across the country, touching about 2 million people right now. That's the mechanism that I put in place for my advertising expectations. I kind of got off track here a second. What was I saying?
Building a network.
Building a network. So the funny thing is like last week, I'm like, dude, I don't know. I was talking to Zach. I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to get the Facebook ads out. I got so much stuff, not the Facebook ads, but the YouTube ads, because I had the Facebook ads running first. The YouTube ads out, and he's like, well, I'll help you do that. And like it just kind of occurred to me. I'm like, holy crap, because he's just my accountability person. He's the one who's like, dude, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. As painful as it is to me right now, you owe St. Jude $1,000.
It hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet. I haven't lost a dime yet. And sorry, St. Jude. Maybe at some point in time I just do throw you a bone, and well, I already donate to St. Jude monthly. So anyways, what he's talking about with the network thing is like, okay, so all of a sudden somebody jumps in to help me achieve my goal because they want to see me succeed, just like I want to see him succeed. And we were talking about the ab thing this morning. And I'm just like, okay, so we're 6 weeks in, we're halfway in right now. I did not think by any stretch of the means that I would already have visible abs right now, but I do. And it's freaking awesome. I've never had abs in my entire life. My wife puts her hand on my stomach all the time, and it's awesome. It's amazing. But Zach started with a little more body fat than I did. And he's looking fantastic right now. So I'm just like collaborating with him here. Let's think about how to get, you guys 6 weeks left. Let's make this an achievement. You know what I mean? So I'm helping him out. So this is where are you at with your diet, where, the so on and so forth. Not taking anything away from his ability, because he has some phenomenal ability to not have to eat. I don't know how that works, but you get my point. We all, people jump in to help you succeed, and
that actually goes back to jiu-jitsu, and that's the thing right there, is all the people helping you succeed. I've cut 15 pounds in one day because I had to make weight, but I didn't do that alone. I did that with a team.
Right.
I cannot eat for 3 days if I want to, because I had a team. I had people teaching me. I had people backing me up. I had people, and now this is instilled in me, and that's why, like, I have some self-discipline built in me from a team. I was taught this by a team. Not everyone has that. So there it is.
We got cut off. So
But I've always had a team behind me when I was doing those things, and now I can do them because I've been taught, I've built in that discipline, and that's how I'm able to just not eat for 3 days or whatever. I try not to do that. I try and eat every day once,
But the crazy thing is that as his counterpart, I want his success just as badly as he does. It's kind of an interesting way to look at it. You wind up partnering up with people. My wife was telling me yesterday, because she and a lot of people will do this cyclical thing where like you do really, really great, make a lot of good decisions, eat really healthy, so on and so forth, and then eat a whole bunch of fucking donuts and do a lot of weird shit with your health for a little while. And I did this when the 1 year club started, first day of the mechanism to not drink. I don't even want to tell you all the bad decisions that I made that December, but it was pretty bad. Like, and I was getting every last drop of my exhausting my efforts to drink in that December. People will do that. Once she was saying, well, what if I don't have somebody? So my wife is super, super awesome, but she's doesn't want to bother people with any of her issues. She's one of those doers, and she's not a talker. She does not talk about what she just makes stuff happen. Phenomenal woman. I love her so much. Anyways, she doesn't want to bother other people with, hey, you want to be a part of this with me. But what I would say is, if you're one of those people too that thinks that way, really, really kind of search in your mind who you could help benefit at the same time as you benefiting, and somebody that will hold you accountable, that will be honest to, and somebody that you will be honest with as well. What I assure you, what's going to wind up happening is once you get a mechanism with somebody, you're likely going to wind up having a stronger friendship bond with them than you've ever had previously. I don't even know how to really explain it. You'll see what I mean once you start. But
I think a lot of it has to do with just honesty. You work through your problems. You're telling them your problems, and I mean that builds a bond right there. It's just before, if you're setting a goal by yourself and you're trying to achieve something by yourself, when you cheat or you aren't accomplishing the goal, doing the things that you need to do to accomplish the goal, you're just telling yourself, oh, no one knows, you know? So having that other person to be like, hey dude, I'm struggling here, I'm struggling there, kind of helps you get through those things where you're not making those mistakes.
And then at the same time, when you're somebody else's counterpart that they're asking you to help them be accountable for, I'm not saying chase somebody, like if somebody has issues eating Krispy Kremes or something like that, I'm not saying follow them around and see if they go to a Krispy Kreme store. I'm not saying any of that stuff. Like the reality of it is, if somebody really has the intention to just cheat, they don't even need to be in your life. Just you know what, like whatever. And honestly, like there's heroin addicts out there, there's meth addicts out there, and I would argue that sugar is probably just as addicting, if not more so addicting than some of those really heavy barbiturates and whatever drugs there are. I mean, look in your cabinets how much sugar they're actually acceptable. But there are people that just aren't gonna want to achieve, and you can't force a mechanism on anybody. All you can do is present the idea. If they want to move forward in their life, by all means. And the discouraging thing is, I saw a post the other day that said that I would rather be humbled by a mistake than let success make me arrogant. And I was looking at that, and I'm like, to me, arrogance is a perception that other people might have of you. You might not have any intent. It is right now. I'm the student in so many environments that I'm in, because I'm trying to get to this multi-million-dollar level in just real estate. Like just real estate is one piece that I'm working on right now. And in order for me to get to that level, I'm humbled by these millionaires and multimillionaires that I'm involved with, that when I make money on a deal, they make money on a deal. So they're invested in me to some level, but I'm humbled by the level of success that I've had. I don't want to tell you numbers right now, but it's actually it's more money than I've ever made as a field operations manager of a large commercial electrical company. Anyways, I'm humbled by my success. If I share my success with you, there's probably 7 out of 10 people that'll think I'm coming off arrogant because I'm sharing my success. Those people aren't. I'm not talking to you right now. I'm talking to the other 3 people that actually want to move forward, get to my level, or pass me up in my level, and I would love to help you do that. So what I'm saying is like when you have a saying that says, I would rather be humbled by my mistakes than become arrogant from my successes, that's a negative program. You have to pay attention to all these because there's a lot of them out there. That negative program, that statement right there basically says it's virtuous to make mistakes and be humble and appear humble, and it's a weakness to have success and appear arrogant. Appearing arrogant is somebody else's perception of you. It's not necessarily what you are. We just have to be totally clear about that. So watch for those negative programming elements that have put you in a situation right now where you sit here and try to achieve a goal for 7 years and you fail freaking 10 times and you think that you could never do it. Starting a small business, whatever it is you're looking at. Pay attention to the negative programming around you.
Sharing your success is not arrogant. It's when you're a jerk and you treat people crappy and you're trying to share your success and brag about it while you're treating people crappy. That's arrogant. But sharing your success, I mean, you should feel good about your accomplishing your goals. You should feel good about your success. You should want to share that with the people that you love. So I don't think that's arrogant.
Yeah, me posting my abs on Facebook absolutely probably comes off as arrogant and freaking conceited. So there was an accountability thing because I started this thing on Facebook, putting it in front of everybody on Facebook, saying here's where I'm at, here's where my stomach is, and then I did side by side 6 weeks later. Fantastic results. And the funny thing about it is I think I got more responses on my picture of my abs than I get on half the freaking inspirational quotes and value that I actually put out there. Like it just shows how powerful mechanisms can be. And one day it's just going to be a part of everybody's lives. Arrogant statement, sure. But that's if you perceive it as such, then the message isn't for you. But the 3 people, the 3 out of the 10 people that go, yeah, you know what, I could really use that stuff. People are IMing me and DMing me and saying, hey, how do I get your book? How do I get your book? Where do I start to get your book? And in end of August there will be an audiobook as well. So I couldn't live with myself, because I don't read books, asking everybody to read a book when I only do audiobooks. So I should have an audiobook out, even though they say that it doesn't make as much money or something like that. I don't even get that. I don't even get that. But whatever. It doesn't even matter. It's not even about the money. It's about the movement for sure. So did you have much more else to say? Because I really got to pee.
No, I just want to build a network of successful people. I want people to be nice people, not jerks. And I think everyone will be good with their success.
With that, people, have a fantastic Monday morning. Thank you.
Thank you.